Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk, back again with another simple Saturday project for you. And this is all about showing off some of the beautiful new designer series paper that we've got. So if you're a demonstrator, this is a great way to showcase both sides of the paper, but actually what it's all about is a quick and easy card that is full of lots of texture and lots of fun. So this paper here is from the Nature's Poem paper, and as I say, that these are all the different designs. 12 sheets, 12 by 12, and this just uses a couple of 1-inch punches of each of the different papers, along with our 1 3/8 inch punch for some soft suede circles. And what I've done here, just to show you, is this is using a narrow border, and quite simple. We're going to create a basic card base and then create our layers to go on the top. So I'm using soft suede and some mint macaron, which I've got here, like so. And I'm using then just standard basic white to create our card base. So this is a tent fold card base because it looks a little bit like a tent when you look at it end on. It uses half a sheet of A4 card, and depending on where you are, I'm in Europe, so we use using those measurements. So to make your card base, take your piece of card and cut it in half at 5 7/8, like so, and then just score at 4 1/8, and that will then fold to create your card base like so. Now the layers I've used on this are a 1/4 sheet, slightly less, so because we've done 5 7/8, we're going to 5 3/4, so it's just an 1/8 difference on this card to give a narrow border, and so that's going to be by 4 inches on our cardstock, so that just gives that little narrow border around the edge. And then the same again, not the same again, same idea again. So we go 5 5/8 for our mint macaron and 3 7/8 for our 1/4. Now if I was doing this in centimetres, I would just use a 1/2 centimetre or about 3 millimetres difference if I was going to do a narrow border. Once you've done that, you can pop your trimmer to one side, and we'll layer these up. So I seem to have some broken plastic from somewhere. Don't quite know what I've done there. And then that just creates a narrow border. This is what happens sometimes, you get a little bit stuck. Okay. When you've got sticky glue. So what I normally do is line it up in the middle, like so. There we go. Okay, and then do the same, hopefully without making a mess of it, with my mint macaron layer. So again, when you're gluing card, you don't need to cover the back with glue. You just need to go around those edges. Okay, and so there's our card base, and obviously those layers make it quite nice and sturdy as well. And to make it stand up, I always remind my class ladies just to reinforce that crease, and then it will stand up nice and straight. So onto our layers now. So we're going to punch, I've already punched a few, so we need 12 of these circles. So I've cut about 9 or 10 of these. So I just need an extra 2. And what I do with this again is I cut a strip. I find it much easier to cut a strip about 1 1/4 inch wide and then just punch those out. Easier to work with, you don't get very much waste either. So those are all of our circles, and then with the DSP, I'm just using the single 1-inch punch, and again just over an inch wide strip of each of the pieces of paper. You can see, so you know, if you're making lots of cards, then this is a really sort of, you know, frugal way to create lots of cards without using too much of your precious paper. I know what you're like, ladies and gents, of course. You can see there, I experimented with a slightly larger one to start off with, and then settled on the 1-inch punch, working much better. So again, you know, if you've got layering circles, then you could use those instead. But I, you know, for speed, I just find it easier to create with our punches when you're doing something like this. You get a tired old arm otherwise. And then all I'm going to do is just come along and put a bit of snail on each of those and just pop them in the circle. Now what I try and do is keep the two together, so I do 2 at a time, which I've failed miserably to do with some of these. It's like playing Snap, isn't it? Afterwards. Okay. That's it. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Now I've done it. So you can go along and just pop them on. And I'm gluing these on flat, and then I'll lift them up on dimensionals afterwards to give that feeling, and I'll show you how I kind of space it out. You could measure it if you're the sort of person that likes things to be very precise, then by all means measure it. You can always add some sort of very faint pencil marks to it if you want to. I don't. I do it by eye. I know that some people like to be more precise. I always say to people, you know, in classes, when they're worried about things being precise, I kind of go, if you want it precise, then you'll order it made by a machine. The chances are the recipient is not going to notice if things are a smidgen off, slightly wonky, and if they do, well, you know what, it's handmade with love, and it's the love that you're giving somebody, not a precise recreation. But I do know that some people do like to be very precise, and that's fine as well. And then what I do is I kind of played around with the layout of the card till I got something that I was sort of happy with. And I just wanted to kind of vary the colours between the leaves and the plainer designs. So I kind of alternated a leaf and a plain design. And so I'd kind of got, I mean, some of them are more leafy than others. I tried to mix up the colours so you hadn't got sort of 2 purples together, for example. I tried to mix those around a little bit as well. And again, so that the designs were a little bit different. Okay, and depending on which bit of the paper, obviously you're going to get a different effect as well. Now what I've used to embellish it are these lovely new leaf embellishments. They're called leaves trinkets, and they come in 2 designs. They come in the standard leaf in both sort of a coppery colour and a silver colour, and you get like a tri-fold leaf as well to use. So I just thought I'll use another coppery one on this one. And then to layer those up, what I started by doing was, I started by standing up over it for a start off. I always think that's a good place to start. And what I did was I just eyeballed the corners. And I kind of went, you know, the same sort of distance in from the corner. And that then gave me my marks for my corners. And then I just went from there, really. So I did exactly the same on the other corner. So I made sure I kind of got it about the same in from the side and above. Probably got my head in shot there. That's really great for you to see my lovely grey hair. And again. And then it's just a case of sticking a dimensional on the back. And popping those up. And then those middle rows, I just sort of space those out in that way. So I pop that again so there's an fairly even space between them. As I said, you know, you can get a ruler if that's your preference. You could line them up against a ruler between the two edges if you wanted. I'm going free and easy. But it's just to show you that, you know, whatever your ability, you can make a card. And sometimes, I mean, you know, those of you who follow me know that I love fancy folds. I don't always have time to make a fancy fold card, you know, and when I do classes, I do a mixture. You know, I usually try and do a sort of standard, a couple of standard cards and a fancy fold, because I think, you know, a lot of the time we don't have time to do something as complicated as we might like. I'm adding one of my leaf trinkets. They have one side which is slightly flatter than the other, and all I've done is just added a couple of glue dots there. And this is why I chose a fairly plain design for this end one here. Just pop that there. And then the final bit, because I liked that, but I felt it was just lacking a little something. So what I've got is one of the stamps, which is this super stamp here, which is from the Rooted in Nature. I'm going to be using this a lot. These trees, these wood images are beautiful and even better. She says, we have dies to match. As you can see, we have dies which aren't attached to my... They will be once I've finished putting my stamps together. But they are absolutely beautiful, and a great, you know... I love lovely as a tree. I don't enjoy fussy cutting. So all I've got is some soft suede ink, new style ink pad, lifts up like a compact, just slides in place, and then this stamp set is lovely. Be strong, be happy, be you. And all I did was I just stamped that like so. To close the new ink pads, just pull all the way, flip and clip. Waft it, make it sure it's dry, and then because it's a solid one, all I did was I just cut around each of those images. Oh, this is how I lose dies, look. Right, and just snip away. And then to attach those, this is where I use my offcuts of my dimensional strips. I mean, you can use our long strips that we have. You can use glue if you want. So if I was putting these flat onto something, then a little bit of fuse on the back is all we need. If I wanted to lift them up a bit more, I'd use a little bit of dimensional strip. In this instance, all I'm going to do is make sure I've got the right end, and I'm just going to come in with my snail on a bit of scrap card, and I'm just going to sort of overlap that. Again, it's to show you haven't always got to have sentiments, you know, slap bang in the middle of things to look good. Well, I like it like this anyway. Make sure I'm gluing the right end, just double checking there. And I just like that sort of tiered effect. So there we have a quick and easy simple card showing the beautiful colours, and look how well they work together. This one isn't quite, look at that, not quite quite central. What you can do, give it a little twist and then replace it. There we go. But there you are. Thanks for watching. Come back and see me again soon. And if you want any of the products that you've seen today, pop along to my Stampin' Up shop, heidismith.stampinup.net. Follow the links to the shop, or give me a call or drop me an email. I'll be happy to help and advise. If you're in the Warwickshire area, Stratford, then give me a call and come along to one of my classes. You take care. Come back and see me soon. Bye now.